nice to see so many of you here that I recognize from working with us collaboratively on the Rights and Responsibilities Handbook, which I'll hold up. We had some copies in the back if you were interested in having that or taking that with you, because I will start with what we do kind of as a reactive way when students misbehave. We have changed a lot of what we do and a lot of our options when students do make some wrong choices. And you can see the discipline intervention matrix, which I believe starts on page 21. And this past year, what we did is we require that for every referral that is received by a student requires that a call home is made. And so we feel like that is the first step in getting families involved and getting together with what we can do next to improve what students can do to improve their behavior. And we changed a number of things on the discipline intervention matrix. We made it much more clear for students and for parents to see what would happen in terms of the progression as they continue to misbehave or choose some of the wrong things. It's much clearer and it's much easier for kids to see. A student designed the front of this book. We made it larger as part of what students said would help them to do a better job in keeping track of how they needed to behave. And so we feel like that was something that did at least help. Part of it is knowing what you've got to do and what's going to happen if you don't do it. This coming year, we've been working on revising that, and what we've added as some of the consequences that can be chosen from is the restorative practices and peer mediation. So that will be something that will be in there. And we can certainly use help with doing some of those programs, the neighborhood and school accountability boards. I heard Paula say something about what else can be done, and that's something that does require additional support outside of the school. So we will be working on doing that. So we also wanted to look at things that were more proactive. Again, Ms. Morgan talked about having the ISS and the in lieu of removal classes, but we've also recognized in looking at how students, when they do misbehave, and we talk to them, find out, well, what caused you to do this? Why did you get into this situation? And so we really are looking at proactive means in which to have students improve their behavior. And one of the things, again, is about having connections, just as with the career academies. You can see all of those on the wall back here, and making a connection to the school and what's going on. It also is making connections with the adults at the school. So we have spent a fair amount of time and money on capturing kids' hearts, which is an excellent way for teachers to connect with students and establish relationships and build rapport. That is something that will make a difference for students and helping them make a good choice instead of jumping right into a poor choice. Some of the other things that we have done to be more proactive is we recognize that a lot of students, when we look back at the data, some of our older students, the ones who may have been retained once or more times, they often really do have difficulty making those connections. They're older than the other kids. They feel like they have been left behind, and so in some cases they do choose to misbehave. So what we put in place this past year is a program. It's called the Phoenix Program. It's up at Georgetown. It's for students who were still in middle school, but they were 16 years old already, and they just not passed. We just had our first GED completer last week, so we really did celebrate that. That was good news for us. That's a small program again, a good opportunity for students to make a connection with an adult. There are 15 children in that program with one teacher, and we hope that as they complete their GED, then they'll go ahead and work on some programs, some vocational programs up at Georgetown, or continue on to Pensacola State College. We will expand that, hopefully, in the near future, but we are also doing another program called Success Academy. That will be a new program this coming year. We have hired and identified the administrator for that. That program will be located in the same building as Second Chance. It will be 60 students, 7th and 8th graders, who are overaged, when the goal will be to get them back on track and have them reintegrate either back in the middle school or most likely into high school so that they are back on track. That will be small classrooms, again, a good opportunity to have relationships and definitely make better behavioral choices. Again, students who feel like they are behind, They just want to go ahead and make some of the poorer choices. One of the other things that we have done that's relative to capturing kids' hearts is Leadership Blueprint. And that is a program that helps our administrators and our leaders in our school make better connections with some of the people at their school, the adults and the children at the school as well. So those are some of the proactive things. I think one of the really big things that we have started in this past year is Vision 2020, where we have a lot of one-to-one devices for students. Again, we're teaching them the way that they're used to communicating with others, with using that computer. They can take it home. They can take it home and their family can use it, and that just gives them more access to something beyond Escambia County. So we really are looking at a number of proactive things in addition to the ways that we have unfortunately had to apply consequences.